It started with drones, then came missiles, and just like that, the most volatile region on Earth exploded into crisis again. But this time the danger isn't just on the battlefield, it's in your wallet. While the world watches Iran and Israel trade fire, something much bigger is brewing quietly beneath the headlines. A global economic shock that could shake oil markets, upend trade, and push fragile economies closer to the edge. Because when tensions rise in the Middle East, the ripple effects don't stop in Tehran or Tel Aviv. They reach gas stations in Texas, factories in Europe, and cargo ships in Asia. If you find this kind of global economic insights helpful, go ahead and like this video and share it with someone who follows world news. It really helps more people discover this content. Now let's talk about why this particular conflict is so much more dangerous than others. It all comes down to one place, the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow stretch of water between Iran and Oman that's only 20 miles wide at its tightest point, but through it flows more than 20% of the world's daily oil. That's 17 million barrels a day. Let that sink in for a second. 1/5 of the entire planet's oil supply sails through a corridor that could be shut down in hours by a single missile or mine. It's not just a waterway, it's a pressure point, and Iran knows exactly how to use it. This is why every time conflict flares near Hormuz, oil prices jump and traders panic. It's not just about what's happening now, it's about what could happen next. When Iran launched retaliatory missile strikes and Israel vowed escalation, global markets responded immediately. Brent crude surged past $72 a barrel, and West Texas oil wasn't far behind. Now maybe that doesn't sound catastrophic yet, but remember, this is happening in an economic climate where inflation is still high, central banks are cautious, and supply chains are still recovering from COVID and Red Sea disruptions. Every dollar oil goes up adds more pressure. Higher fuel prices, more expensive goods, shipping delays, and the dreaded word inflation. And if this conflict gets worse, say Iran hits an Israeli-linked tanker or Israel bombs a key oil terminal, we are not talking $92 oil anymore. We are talking $120 or more. Historically, when oil hits that level, recessions are never far behind. Now here is where it gets more complicated and more dangerous. The battlefield isn't just on land or in the skies anymore. It's at sea. Already Iranian proxy groups like the Houthis in Yemen are preparing to disrupt Red Sea traffic just like they did earlier this year. Tankers near the Persian Gulf are either rerouting, anchoring in safe harbors, or moving under armed escort. And with all that, insurance costs have skyrocketed, some reports say by 400%. That extra cost doesn't just stay in the Gulf. It filters all the way down the supply chain to shipping companies, to stores, and eventually to you and me. When shipping lanes are under threat, the global economy catches a cold. Goods get delayed, routes get longer and costlier. And already stressed global logistics systems start cracking again. What do you think? Should global powers get more involved to protect energy routes like Hormuz, or should they stay out of the Middle Eastern conflicts? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. Iran knows exactly what kind of leverage it holds. This isn't just about ideology or military retaliation, it's about economic power. Iran doesn't need a large navy or modern fighter jets to make its point. A few well-placed drones or naval mines near Hormuz can do more damage to global confidence than an airstrike ever could. This is asymmetric warfare, using economic pressure as a weapon. And oil for Iran is not just an export, it's a strategic tool. Even countries that aren't directly involved like China, India, Japan, and South Korea are now bracing for ripple effects. They rely heavily on Gulf oil and have no substitutes if shipments are delayed or prices skyrocket. Even the US, which is now less dependent on Middle Eastern oil than before, can't escape the price consequences. Its refineries, exports, and markets all depend on stable oil prices. That's why even Washington, while backing Israel, is likely urging calm behind closed doors. The scariest part? The global economy has no real cushion left. Strategic oil reserves depleted in many countries. Interest rates still high, leaving central banks with very few tools to respond to another oil shock. And supply chains still fragile from COVID and the Red Sea crisis. It's like a dry forest. It only takes one spark. A single strike on a major tanker or any interference with commercial shipping through Hormuz could be enough to trigger a full-blown crisis. Not just a stock market wobble, but another recession. There is still hope, and it lies in diplomacy. Behind the scenes, Gulf states like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are pushing both sides to back down. The US and European allies are likely engaging Iran through back channels, trying to de-escalate the situation. But Middle East politics is rarely simple. Pride, history, and ideology often outweigh economic sense. So while everyone agrees that a crisis would be catastrophic, no one wants to blink first. So what does this all mean for us? The Iran-Israel conflict is far more than a military standoff. It's a dangerous reminder that in today's interconnected world, regional wars don't stay regional. Oil isn't just something that powers cars, it powers economies. And the Strait of Hormuz isn't just a map location, it's the beating heart of the global trade system. As missiles fly and warnings are exchanged, the world waits, not just in fear of war, but in fear of what that war might cost. Because in the 21st century, conflicts aren't just fought with weapons. They are fought with energy, with trade, and with economic pain. If you found this breakdown valuable, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss more content like this. Thanks so much for watching and stay informed.